Hello and welcome. In this video, we will create a password generator as an exercise. Alright, I will run the program now and show you the desired output. When I run the program, it has to display a welcome message and it has to ask me to enter the desired password length. If I enter 0, then it has to say invalid length, password must be a positive number, and it has to prompt me to enter the length once again. If I enter a negative value, then it has to display the same message and prompt me to enter the length. If I enter a positive value, for example 7, then it must generate a password, a random password, and it must be displayed like this. Alright, the password should contain letters, digits, and punctuation. Alright, so let us begin. Alright, for this exercise, we need to import random module and also string module. Okay, random module has functions for generating random numbers, selecting random elements, shuffling sequences, and so on. We want this module because passwords must be unpredictable, right? So we will use a function from this module to randomly pick characters for our password. Okay. Now this module here contains a collection of useful string constants, including sets of common characters like all lowercase letters, all uppercase letters, digits, and punctuation. Okay. Now let me show you a few functions that we will be using in this exercise. So in a print statement, I will say string dot ASCII letters. Alright. So this constant ASCII letters of this string module contains all lowercase and uppercase English letters. Okay, so let me run this and you can see the output. Okay, it has all the lowercase letters and uppercase letters. Next, we will be using digits. This constant contains all numerical digits from 0 to 9 and you can see it here. Next, we will be using punctuation. So I will say punctuation, and when I run this, you can see that this constant contains these characters. Okay, so our password will be a combination of capital letters, small letters, digits, and punctuations. Okay, so let me close this. And now what I will do is I will create a variable which will have ASCII values along with digits and punctuation. Alright, so now when I run this, you can see that it is a long string of letters, digits, and punctuation. Okay, so we will be using this. Next, let me show you how to use the choice function of random module. I will create a variable by the name text, and in this I will have a list in which the elements will be letters or random letters of English alphabet. Okay, and let me have one more Z. Alright, Now we will use random modules choice function, and to this we will send the list. Okay, and we will have this in the print statement. When I run this, you can see that this function returns one randomly selected element from this list text. Okay, when I run the program once again, you can see we have Z from this list. When I run once again, you can see we have F once again. All right. So this is the use of choice function. It takes a sequence and then returns one randomly selected element from it. Okay. Let me close this. Now I will delete this, and here I will have a variable by the name combined, and inside double quotes I will have dash and then use join method and then pass text to it. Okay, and then I will print combined. All right, now when I run this, see the result of it. We have A, D, F, U, Z or Z, which are the elements of this list, right? So this join method is called on the separator string. Okay, this is called as separator string. In this case, separator is a dash. This join method takes an iterable, like in this case, our list, as an argument, and then it concatenates all the elements of this list into one string by inserting the separator between each element, which you can notice here. Okay, if we change this separator string and if we run this, we will get the output like this. Okay, if we do not have anything, meaning if we keep it blank and if we run this, then it will join all the letters, or it will concatenate all the letters and give the result like this. Okay, so we will be using this method in our exercise 2. All right, yes, so let me close this and let me delete this. Now let us start with our program. I will create a function by the name generate password. Okay, and this function takes length as an argument. Okay, and in this function I will have a variable by the name characters, which will have string dot ASCII values plus string dot digits plus string dot punctuation. Okay, so this variable now holds a long string of all possible symbols, digits and letters we want in our password. Okay, now let us generate the password. I will say password equal to, and I will have a list comprehension here. Okay, I will say random dot choice, and inside we will have this characters. Okay, and then for underscore in range length. All right, and then I will say return, and I will use the join method and I will return password. Okay. Now, let me explain these three lines. We will be asking the users to enter the length of the password, and whatever value they enter, it will be passed as an argument to this function generate password. Okay. This range function generates a sequence of numbers from 0 up to length -1. For example, if a user enters 10, then the range would be from 0 to 9. Okay. Now here I have an underscore. This can be any letter or any word, but we do not care about this. This is just a placeholder variable. We use it when we need to loop a certain number of times, but we don't actually care about the value of the loop counter itself. Okay, we just need the loop to run length times, and so I have used underscore here. You can use any character or word in this place, it doesn't matter. Okay, now this choice is a function from the random module, and a few minutes back I showed you what it does. Correct? This function takes a sequence and then returns one randomly selected element from it. Now what does this characters variable have? It has a long list of letters, digits and punctuation, right? So this choice function returns one randomly selected element from this. Okay, and we have the entire expression enclosed in square brackets. So this creates a list, and you know how to use list comprehension, right? Now inside each iteration of the loop, this function will be called, and so for each iteration of the loop, the result of this random.choice is added as an item to this list. Okay, to this list. For example, if a user enters 3 as the length value, then in the first iteration, maybe character G gets added to the list. In the second iteration, maybe the @ symbol gets added to the list. And in the third iteration, maybe number 3 gets added to the list. Okay, so this would be stored in this variable. Okay, and what we are returning in the next line is a string, because you know that this method concatenates all the elements of this list without any separator. So we have not provided separator here, meaning these elements will be added together normally and it will be returned. Okay, so this would return G, @ and 3 as a string. Alright, next I will move on to the main function. Alright, I will name it as main. This is where the primary execution logic of our Python script will be. Okay, so first I will display a message saying welcome to the password generator. Okay, now I will say while true. Now whenever we say while true, this becomes an infinite loop. The code inside this loop will keep executing repeatedly forever unless a break statement is encountered. Okay? We are doing this, or we are using this because we want to keep asking the user for input until they provide a valid password length that meets our criteria. Okay, and inside this while I will have try and I will have except. Okay, and inside this try I will say length equal to int, and I will ask for input from the users. I will say enter the desired password length. Okay, and let me say must be a positive number. All right, so this is what I want to say. Now let me go to view and select word wrap, okay, which puts the lengthy line in 2 lines. Next I will have if length is greater than 0, meaning the input is valid. I will say generated, okay, generated password. This is a new variable equal to this and inside brackets length. Okay, this, and in the next line I will print an F string saying generated password, and here I will have this variable. Okay, I will copy and paste this, and in the next line I will say thank you, and after this I will say break, because once the password is generated and it is displayed, the program must end. Okay, next I will have the else block, and inside this I will print, what should I print? When will this be activated? When the length is less than 0, correct, or equal to 0. So here I will say invalid length, I will say password, or let me have this, let me have this here. Okay, let me not have this because it doesn't make any sense if we display it here itself. Okay, password must be a positive number. Okay, next in the except block I will catch the value error, and here I will print invalid input. Please enter a whole number for the password length. Okay, and I will have one more except block, and this will catch all other exceptions. Okay, exception, and here I will print an F string, or normally an unexpected error occurred. Okay, now the try and except are crucial for error handling. It allows our program to try to execute a block of code and catch any specific errors. Okay, this prevents our program from crashing if something unexpected happens. All right, this else block will be executed if the password length is 0 or a negative number. This message will be displayed and the while loop will automatically start its next iteration, prompting the user for input again because no break will be executed here. Okay, since we do not have a break here, or since it doesn't execute break, it will ask the user for input once again. Okay, this will be executed only if a user enters non-numeric text, for example A, B, C, D or some other words. And similar to the else case above, the loop will continue to its next iteration asking for input once again. Okay, and now here what we will have is, let me zoom out. If dunder name dunder equal to dunder main dunder, then I'm missing one more equal to symbol here, then run the main function. Okay, now you know what this does, right? When we run a Python script directly, Python automatically sets the name variable of that particular script to main. But if this script were imported as a module into another Python file, then name for this script would be 01, the file name, and not main. Okay, you know this already, right? So this if statement ensures that the code inside it, which is the main function, only runs when this script is executed directly and not when it is imported as a reusable module by another program. Okay, this is a good practice for keeping our code organized and preventing unintended execution of parts of our script when it is being used as a library. Okay, using this block is a standard practice in Python scripts. Okay, now let us run this and see if we get any errors. Yes, I have missed double quotes here, okay, because this is a string. All right, now let me run this again. It says, welcome to the password generator. Enter the desired password length. I will enter 0 and it says invalid length. Password must be a positive number. I will enter -9 and it says invalid length. Password must be a positive number. So it is working fine. I will enter 8 now and it says generated password is this, and then it displays thank you. So the password generator is working fine. All right. Yes. So this is our program.